Have you ever felt a sudden chill in a warm room, or caught a fleeting shadow in the corner of your eye? Throughout human history, across every culture, there are stories of entities that exist just beyond our perception. Beings of immense power and profound malice, born from the darkest corners of ancient belief. These are not mere ghosts or simple monsters. They are primordial forces, spirits whose very names have been whispered in fear for millennia. Today, we journey into the shadows to confront 5 of the most powerful and malevolent ancient spirits ever conceived by the human imagination. Beings whose legends have outlived empires and whose influence is said to still bleed into our world. What you are about to hear is a descent into the oldest fears of mankind. Proceed with caution. Number 5. The Wendigo. Our journey begins in the frozen, unforgiving forests of North America, the ancestral lands of the Algonquian-speaking peoples. Here, a terrifying spirit is said to roam, a creature born from the ultimate taboo, cannibalism. This is the Wendigo. The legend of the Wendigo is a chilling cautionary tale. It is said that any human who resorts to eating the flesh of another, even to survive starvation, becomes vulnerable to possession by this malevolent spirit. The transformation is horrific. The individual is consumed by an insatiable hunger for human flesh, their body contorting and withering away, becoming a gaunt, skeletal parody of their former self. They grow taller, their skin is pulled taut over their bones, and their eyes sink deep into their sockets, glowing with a predatory light. But the Wendigo is more than just a physical monster. It is the embodiment of endless winter, of famine, and of the gnawing desperation that can drive good people to commit unspeakable acts. It is a spirit of excess, a being whose hunger can never be sated. Legends say it is perpetually starving, and the more it eats, the larger it grows and the hungrier it becomes. This paradox makes it a symbol of unending gluttony and desire. Some traditions claim the Wendigo has supernatural powers that aid its hunt. It is said to be incredibly fast and strong, capable of mimicking human voices to lure its victims into the woods. It can move silently through the trees, a phantom in the blizzard, and its very presence is said to bring on a supernatural cold, a bone-deep chill that warns of its approach. It's a master of stealth and psychological warfare, turning the familiar, comforting sounds of the forest into a deadly trap. The Wendigo is a stark, terrifying reminder of the thin line between humanity and monstrosity, and the ancient belief that some sins leave a permanent, soul-shattering stain.
Number 4. The Jinn. From the windswept deserts of the Arabian Peninsula comes a race of beings born not of clay, like humans, but of a smokeless fire. They are the Jinn. While Western pop culture has often portrayed them as whimsical genies in lamps, the original lore tells a much darker, more complex story. According to ancient texts, the Jinn are a pre-Adamic race, existing in a world parallel to our own. They have free will, just like humans, and among them are both good and evil. But it is the malevolent among them, often referred to as the Ifrit or the Marid, that have earned a place on our list. These are beings of immense power, prideful, and often filled with a burning hatred for humanity. Their abilities are said to be vast and terrifying. They can take on any form they desire, a human, an animal, or a monstrous hybrid of both. They are masters of illusion and deception, capable of twisting a person's perception of reality, driving them to madness. Legends speak of Jinn leading travelers astray in the desert with phantom oases, or whispering dark thoughts into the minds of the vulnerable, inciting jealousy, rage, and violence. What makes them truly fearsome is their intangible nature. They can be anywhere and everywhere. They are said to inhabit ruins, desolate places, and even the very air around us. They can possess humans, seizing control of their bodies and forcing them to commit terrible acts. An encounter with a powerful, malevolent jinn is not a battle of flesh and bone, but a war for your very soul. They are the unseen puppeteers, the architects of misfortune, ancient and powerful spirits who view humanity as little more than insects, to be tormented for their amusement.
Number 3. The Rakshasa. We now travel to the dense jungles and ancient cities of the Indian subcontinent, where the night is filled with the terrifying presence of the Rakshasa. Described in epic Hindu texts like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Rakshasas are a formidable race of supernatural beings, often depicted as fierce, monstrous man-eaters. Their appearance is fluid and horrifying. While they are powerful shapeshifters, their true forms are said to be hideous, with long fangs, sharp claws, and eyes that burn like embers. They are gluttonous and voracious, with a particular taste for human flesh, and their laughter is said to sound like the cracking of bones. But the Rakshasas are not mindless beasts. They are highly intelligent and possess a wide array of magical powers known as Maya. This allows them to create powerful illusions, become invisible, and change their size at will, growing into towering giants or shrinking to the size of a thumb. They are notorious for disrupting sacred rituals, desecrating graves, and tormenting holy men. Perhaps the most infamous Rakshasa king was Ravana, the 10-headed antagonist of the Ramayana. He was a being of immense power, a brilliant scholar, a fearsome warrior, and a tyrannical ruler who was nearly invincible. His story illustrates the true threat of the Rakshasa, a combination of brute strength, dark magic, and cunning intelligence. They represent the forces of chaos and adharma, unrighteousness, a constant threat to the cosmic order. They are the ultimate villains of ancient lore, powerful, malevolent, and eternally hungry.
Number 2. The Aswang. We now venture into the ancient moonlit jungles and remote villages of the Philippines, a land rich with a folklore that is as terrifying as it is complex. Here, we encounter a creature that embodies a unique and intimate kind of terror. It is not a demon from a distant hell, nor a monster that lives in the mountains. The most horrifying thing about the Aswang is that it could be your neighbor, your friend, or the quiet shopkeeper down the street. The Aswang is one of the most feared shapeshifters in Filipino lore. By day, it is completely indistinguishable from a human. It lives a normal life, integrates into the community, and observes its future victims up close. But when night falls, the true horror is unleashed. The Aswang transforms, often into a monstrous creature, a hybrid of human and beast. One of its most famous and terrifying forms is the manananggal, a type of Aswang that can sever its upper torso from its lower body. The upper half then sprouts enormous, leathery, bat-like wings and flies into the night, leaving its legs and lower body behind. It hunts for sleeping victims, particularly pregnant women. It is said to land silently on the rooftops of houses and use a horrifyingly long, thin, proboscis-like tongue to seek out the unborn, drawing their life essence from the womb. Other forms of the Aswang can shapeshift into animals like a large black dog, a wild boar, or a predatory bird. They are ghouls that feast on the deceased and vampires that prey on the living. What makes the Aswang so profoundly malevolent is its duplicity. It is a monster that wears a human face, a predator that gains your trust before it devours you. It represents the fear of the unknown within the known, the terrifying possibility that the greatest evil can be found hidden behind the most familiar of smiles. To face an Oni, is to face a demon you can see. But to live in fear of the aswang is to suspect the demonic in everyone.
Number 1. Baba Yaga. Deep within the forests of Slavic folklore dwells a figure who transcends simple categorization. She is not merely a witch or monster. She is a primal force of nature, as ancient and unpredictable as the woods she inhabits. She is Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga lives in a hut that stands on a pair of giant chicken legs, allowing it to move about the forest at will. The hut is surrounded by a fence made of human bones, topped with skulls whose eye sockets glow with an eerie fire. This is not a creature you stumble upon by accident. The hut itself seems to have a will of its own, turning to face visitors or chasing after those it wishes to ensnare. Her appearance is as grotesque as her home. She is often described as a skeletal old woman with a monstrously long nose and iron teeth, which she uses to grind the bones of her victims. She travels not on a broomstick, but in a giant mortar, propelling herself along with a pestle and sweeping away her tracks with a broom. What makes Baba Yaga the most powerful and terrifying entity on our list is her ambiguity and immense, almost godlike power. She is not purely evil in the way a demon might be. She is a guardian of the border between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Her motivations are often inscrutable. To one person, she may be a terrifying cannibalistic monster who will cook and eat them without a second thought. To another, if they show proper respect and courage, she may become a source of profound wisdom and magical aid, offering guidance or powerful artifacts. This duality makes her incredibly dangerous. Her power is absolute within her domain. She controls the elements, the forest, and its creatures. She is an ancient pagan force that has little regard for human concepts of good and evil. An encounter with Baba Yaga is the ultimate gamble. You may gain untold power, or you may simply become another skull on her fence. She is chaos, wisdom, and death, all rolled into one, a primordial spirit whose power is as vast and as untamable as nature itself.